So today I'm going to take a walk from Chawton, which I just began at the Chawton House library behind me, and up to Farringdon, which was apparently one of Jane Austen's favourite walks. Now this is a little bit longer than the walk from Chawton to Alton, but there's going to be the same number of interesting things to look at, so I'll be pointing out different aspects along the way. So come and join me on another adventure! Which was apparently called the Crosspike Road, which is very different to what Jane Austen would have seen. But it's very nice. It's a trip through the trees, and then when you come to the end of the road and you cross over the stile, you actually end up in this field, which may seem a little bit strange to be walking across a field filled with sheep. But if we just continue across this, we'll head to somewhere called the Nor Copse, and that will be the next part of the journey up to Upper Farringdon. So I'll join you at the end of this field. So we just crossed over what was the Nor Copse, which was apparently part of the field, and I only actually found out when I looked at the map that is put just behind me. And now we're heading down another footpath. So this is quite a steady footpath. It looks like there's maybe tractors and things that go through here. So if you are taking the walk, just be sure to beware of any wildlife or tractors or farm work, because these are working fields. So this is something I just want to fill you in on, which is a little bit ambiguous. So here it says, private woods, please keep out. But then there was also another sign that said, please keep your dogs on leads. And the walk definitely says to come through these woods. So after checking lots of different maps and making sure we were going in the right direction, we've decided to risk it and come through anyway. And there does seem to be a clear path. So I'll check this out on the web later on, and I'll just make sure that we did go in the right direction. So as you come to the end of the road, you will see some houses. And if you turn to your left and you head down this road, this will take us alongside the road, which is alongside Manor House Farm. Which doesn't seem to have any significance to Austen at all, but it's a good point of reference. And we just head straight along this road, and apparently we will hit Upper Farringdon. Church in Farringdon, which is called All Saints, and this was once under the living of Reverend John Benn, who was apparently a friend of the Austen family. And there was often the Benn family would go and visit the Austens up at the Great House, and then equally the Austens would come down here to Farringdon. So most likely Jane would have been here in the churchyard. Now the church looks 19th century in build, so I don't know if it was expanded upon or perhaps changed, but this is unlikely the building that she would have seen, though she probably would have seen quite a few of the gravestones that are just outside, and there would have most certainly been a church here that she most likely would have attended and visited. So it's just another little snapshot of history that tells you how Jane Austen interacted with all of her different friends and people who were around the Chawton area. So just outside in the graveyard at Farringdon, there's apparently a unique gravestone which records the murder in 1758 of a Mary Windebank, who was aged 75 years. Now this gruesome story tells us that she was dragged from her bed and murdered for the money bags stowed beneath, and the carved stone shows a large four-poster bed with money bags under it and a man dragging the unfortunate woman out of it. Now, I've been searching quite a long time around this graveyard to try and find the stone, and I haven't been able to turn up anything at all. So it's possible that the stone was here and it's now been taken away, or it's collapsed, or perhaps it's a completely made up story, who knows. But it's an interesting part of the churchyard history that I just wanted to share with you. Shout out for all you Walt Disney fans out there. If you've ever been to Epcot at the World Showcase, you will know about the Rose and Crown, which is based in England in Epcot. And here is the Rose and Crown pub here in the south of England. So there really is a pub called the Rose and Crown. Now, unfortunately, having a quick peer inside, it looks like this building is now gone. So the pub that was once inside is no longer, which is really unfortunate because I wanted to be able to say that I have drunk in the Rose and Crown in Walt Disney World and here in England as well. So that goes to show, you know, make sure that you support your local pubs and your local places, otherwise they just end up closing doors. So I'm now actually heading out of Farringdon and back towards Alton and Chawton. I just wanted to show you, look at this view. It's absolutely amazing. So there is kind of a modern road here where there's clearly been cars coming up and down, but this might have been what Jane actually saw. Ignore all of the buildings in the distance and just look at the fields and the trees, and this is probably similar to what she might have seen. Just amazing. Now, along the trail, there is apparently a letter that Jane wrote to her sister Cassandra about Wood Barn Farm. Now, Wood Barn Farm no longer exists in the countryside, but I have stumbled across this barn, so I thought I'd tell you just a little bit of information about the farm that would have stood here that Jane did actually go to. And apparently what she said to her sister was that she would often go and pick up poultry and take that back to the great house for them to eat. So this was recorded in one of her letters, and it just proves that she went along this path, and at some point she would have veered off and into a barn, probably up here in behind these trees, to go and pick up some poultry for her family to dine on. So I've come full circle and I have arrived back at Chawton House. Now, the walk to Farringdon is about 2 hours long, and I did get a little bit lost on the journey there, so it might take a little bit less time, maybe an hour and a half if you really want to book it down some of the trails. But it is, if you're taking a leisurely walking pace, then about 2 hours to get there and back. It is a circular walk, so you can go down one path up and around Farringdon, you come down a separate path, and then you come back across the road and back into Chawton. So it is a really nice walk to take. It's nice to see quite a lot of the different scenes that Jane might have seen. Quite a lot of it is still fields, so it's probably things that she would have encountered along her way, even if there is modern tractors or modern technology along the paths. There's also a couple of places where you do have to cross some quite busy roads as well, but they are few and far between. So on the large part, it is a relatively safe walk to take as you're going along. So I hope you've enjoyed this adventure today. Do give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, as there will be plenty more Austen adventures that I take on this trip.